The galaxy made a huge mistake. The galaxy was old, wide, and full of powerful empires. Thousands of species lived among the stars. Some were ancient, some were cruel, and some believed they ruled everything. At the center of it all sat the Galactic Council, a place where the strongest voices decided the fate of weaker worlds. To them, power meant size, technology, and fear. When humanity was first discovered, the reaction was simple. Humans were small, divided, and lived on one blue planet. They fought each other often and had no visible empire. The Council labeled them as harmless. Earth was placed on a low watch list. No fleets were sent. No warnings were given. Humanity was ignored. That was the first mistake. Years passed, and human technology grew quietly. They explored nearby space, but stayed within their borders. They did not threaten. They did not expand fast to the galaxy. This looked like weakness. Then came the second mistake. A rising alien empire needed resources. They searched for worlds that could not fight back. Earth appeared perfect. Rich oceans, stable gravity, and a species that still argued among itself. Without a declaration of war, alien machines entered the solar system. Satellites were destroyed in seconds. Communication went dark across Earth. Cities did not burn, not yet. Instead, the aliens watched, studied, and waited. They expected panic. They expected surrender. They expected fear. But humanity did something strange. They went silent. Governments stopped broadcasting. Military movements disappeared from sensors. Even human internet traffic dropped to almost nothing. To the aliens, this silence meant collapse. They laughed. They reported back to the Council that humans were breaking, that Earth would fall without a fight. They were wrong. Deep beneath the surface of Earth, humans gathered. Leaders, soldiers, engineers, and scientists stood together. Old arguments were put aside. Borders no longer mattered. Human history was full of pain. They had survived plagues, wars, and near extinction. They had learned one rule above all: never show your hand too early. While the galaxy watched an empty planet, human factories worked day and night. Ships were built in places no alien scan could see. Weapons were designed not for beauty, but for purpose. Human war doctrine was simple. If conflict was forced upon them, they would end it fast. Above Earth, the alien fleet grew careless. They moved closer, confident and proud. Their commanders spoke of humans as a lesson, a warning to other weak species. One alien officer asked a simple question: why are the humans not responding? The answer was laughter. Because they have nothing to respond with. That was the third mistake. On Earth, a quiet order was given. Not an attack, command. Not yet. Just a single word shared across secure channels. Prepare. Human ships powered up for the first time. Their designs were rough, almost ugly, but every plate, every engine, had a purpose. These ships were built by a species that knew loss. The galaxy believed humanity was passive. They believed silence meant surrender. They believed peace meant weakness. They never asked why humans stopped fighting each other so quickly. They never asked what kind of species survives its own history. They never asked what happens when such a species is pushed too far. As alien fleets closed in around Earth, human commanders watched calmly. No speeches were made, no threats were sent, because humanity was not preparing to defend itself. Humanity was preparing to remind the galaxy of a forgotten truth. Silence is not fear. Silence is focus, and very soon, the galaxy would learn just how big a mistake it had made. Silence was not fear. The alien fleet waited above Earth. They waited for screams, for surrender signals, for chaos. None of it came. Days passed, then weeks. From orbit, Earth looked calm. Cities still had lights. Oceans still moved. No missiles launched into space. To the galaxy, this confirmed one thing. Humans were confused. Humans were afraid. Reports reached the Galactic Council. Earth was compliant. Human resistance was non-existent. The Council lost interest. They allowed the occupying fleet to stay and observe. This was another mistake. Inside Earth, silence ruled the surface, but below it, humanity was awake. Bunkers, underground cities, deep-sea stations, all of them were alive with movement. Human leaders did not shout. They did not argue on screens. They spoke in quiet rooms, with clear voices and steady eyes. For the first time in human history, there was no debate about politics, no fight over borders, no struggle for power. There was only survival. Human scientists shared everything. Military secrets became public knowledge among allies. Old rival nations worked side by side because the threat was no longer human. Human history was reviewed carefully. Every war, every mistake, every victory, patterns were studied, lessons were remembered. One lesson stood above all others. Enemies always underestimate silence. The alien fleet sent probes into Earth's atmosphere. They scanned cities and military bases. Most bases were empty. Weapon systems were offline or missing. The aliens smiled. They believed humans had abandoned their defenses. They did not know that humans had changed the rules. Instead of building obvious weapons, humans built systems that hid, engines that left no energy trail, materials that absorbed scans instead of reflecting them. Human ships were not designed to impress. They were designed to survive. No glowing lights, no sharp symbols, only thick armor and brutal efficiency. In deep space, far from Earth, small, human fleets gathered. They did not transmit signals. They did not test weapons. They waited. On Earth, people were informed quietly. There were no global speeches, no panic announcements, only instructions. Stay calm, trust the plan. Alien commanders grew bored. They sent landing parties to remote regions, not to conquer, but to study. They treated humans like animals in a cage. Some humans were taken, not as slaves, but as samples. This was when something changed. Human commanders watched the recordings. They saw fear, pain, and anger, but they did not react with rage. They reacted with resolve. A single line was added to the human war plan: no human left behind, no action without purpose. The alien fleet reported success. Human morale was breaking. Resistance was impossible. The Galactic Council accepted this report. They prepared to use Earth as an example. A quiet world under control, a warning to others. They never noticed the small changes. Strange signals at the edge of known space, disappearing probes, silent losses. Alien scouts vanished, one by one, without distress calls, without wreckage. Commanders blamed equipment failure. They blamed navigation errors. They blamed chance. They did not blame humans. In a hidden command center on Earth, a countdown began, not for defense, but for revelation. Human fleets were now ready, weapons tested in silence, targets selected with care. A senior human commander spoke calmly, not to the galaxy, but to his own people. We were ignored, we were tested, now we will be understood. As alien ships continued to circle Earth, confident and careless, human systems locked onto their targets. Still no message was sent, still no warning was given, because humanity was about to teach the galaxy a final lesson. Silence was never fear. Silence was preparation, and the moment of awakening was close. The awakening of human war doctrine. The first human strike did not look like an attack. There were no loud warnings, no bright weapons cutting through space, no dramatic speeches sent to the stars. One moment the alien fleet surrounded Earth, confident and watching. The next moment, something changed. Alien sensors began to fail, not all at once, but one system after another. Navigation went blind. Targeting became useless. Alien commanders shouted orders. Technicians rushed to consoles. They believed it was a malfunction, a temporary error. Then the first ship vanished. No explosion, no debris field. It simply stopped existing on every scanner. Confusion spread across the fleet. Ships moved closer together for safety. This only made things worse. From the dark between stars, human vessels emerged. They did not glow. They did not announce themselves. They appeared like shadows given form. Human weapons struck with precision, not random, not emotional. Each hit removed a single function. Engines failed. Shields collapsed. Communication arrays were cut away. Alien ships were left alive, but helpless. This was not a battle. It was a demonstration. Alien commanders demanded answers. They tried to contact the Galactic Council, but the signal never reached its destination. Human fleets had already sealed the space around Earth for the first time. The galaxy saw how humans fought. They did not seek glory. They did not chase fleeing enemies. They removed threats, calmly and completely. One alien captain finally understood. This species had studied war deeply, not as a game, but as a responsibility. Human war doctrine was simple and brutal. End the fight before it spreads. Break the enemy's ability to harm, then offer a choice. Surrender or vanish. The alien fleet tried to retreat. but their engines were already gone. They tried to negotiate, but no channel was open. Human commanders watched from secure bridges, faces calm, hands steady. They were not angry, they were focused. A human officer spoke softly. "This is not revenge, this is correction." Across the fleet, alien crews felt fear for the first time. Not fear of death, but fear of being powerless. Human boarding teams moved in, silent, controlled, precise. They secured ships without unnecessary force. They treated wounded aliens. They restrained, not slaughtered. This confused the galaxy's observers. Humans destroyed fleets, yet spared lives. Because humans remembered something important. War ends, consequences remain. A single message was finally released, not to the Council, but to every listening system. Humanity is awake. The message contained no threats, no demands, just data, footage of disabled fleets, logs of alien violations, proof of unlawful occupation. The galaxy began to whisper. If humans could do this to a full fleet, what else could they do? The Galactic Council rushed emergency meetings. Old powers argued. Younger empires panicked. They asked the same question. When did humans become this dangerous? The answer was simple. They always were. They just never needed to show it. As the last alien ship above Earth went silent, human fleets held position, waiting, because this awakening was only the beginning. And the galaxy was about to learn that humanity did not fight to conquer. Humanity fought to end mistakes. Fear spreads across the stars. News traveled fast across the galaxy, not through official channels, but through broken signals. Lost fleets and terrified survivors. Entire alien armadas had gone silent near Earth, not destroyed in loud explosions, but erased with careful precision. Smaller empires began to panic. They pulled back their ships. They closed borders. They erased human space from their maps. It did not help. Human fleets did not chase fleeing enemies. They moved with purpose, straight toward those responsible. The galaxy expected rage. They expected burning worlds. They expected revenge. Instead, they saw judgment. One by one, military command centers were disabled. Shipyards stopped functioning overnight. Communication hubs went dark without warning. No civilian worlds were touched. No trade routes were attacked. Only weapons were targeted. This confused many species. Power in the galaxy had always meant terror, but humanity used control instead. Captured alien officers were treated fairly. They were fed, healed, and questioned, not tortured, not humiliated. When asked why, a human commander answered calmly, "Because war is not an excuse to become monsters." Fear spread anyway. The Galactic Council could no longer deny reality. Their authority had failed. Their arrogance had backfired. Emergency messages were sent to Earth, apologies wrapped in formal language, requests for negotiation. They were ignored. Humanity was not finished. Human fleets reached the borders of the aggressor empire, the same empire that had first touched Earth. Their defenses were powerful. Their confidence was gone. Sensors detected human ships everywhere, yet nowhere at the same time. Every shadow felt dangerous. Alien civilians watched their skies in silence, waiting for destruction that never came. Human commanders made a clear choice. They did not attack cities. They did not harm civilians. They targeted leadership. In a single coordinated action, the Empire's ruling fleet was disabled. Its leaders captured alive. The galaxy watched in disbelief. An empire had fallen in hours, without its worlds being burned. A human broadcast followed, short and direct. This conflict was forced upon us. It will end when aggression ends. Fear reached its peak. All across the stars, species realized the truth. Humans were not the strongest because of technology alone. They were strong because of restraint. All powers began to fall in line. They dismantled illegal fleets. They freed occupied worlds. No one wanted to be next. The word humanity changed meaning. It no longer meant a weak newcomer. It meant consequences. A council member whispered during a closed meeting, "We underestimated them. We measured them by size, not by history." His human fleets held their positions, not advancing, not retreating. The galaxy held its breath. Because fear had done what war could not, it had forced reflection. And everyone understood one thing clearly. Humanity was not seeking domination. Humanity was correcting the balance. The anger of mankind is unleashed. The galaxy waited for the final blow. They expected humanity to take the throne, to rule the stars with force and fear. It never happened. Human fleets remained where they were, weapons powered down, defenses active, but no advance orders were given. This confused the Galactic Council more than war ever had. At last, a message was sent from Earth, not from one nation, not from one leader, but from humanity itself. The transmission was clear and calm. We did not come to conquer, we came to be left alone. The message was broadcast to every system, recorded, in every known language, simple words, impossible to misunderstand. Humanity explained its silence. It was not fear, it was patience. They spoke of their past, of wars that almost ended them, of lessons learned at terrible cost. We know what uncontrolled anger becomes. That is why we restrain it. The Council listened in silence. For the first time, they did not interrupt. Humanity continued. You tested us. You watched us suffer. You took our people. We responded, not with hatred, but with certainty. Then came the warning, soft, but unbreakable. Do not mistake kindness for weakness. The aggressor empire was dismantled, not destroyed, its weapons removed, its leaders put on trial. Occupied worlds were freed, their people protected by human fleets, not as rulers, but as guardians. Across the galaxy, treaties were rewritten, the Galactic Council reformed, not because humanity demanded it, but because fear demanded change. Human ships slowly returned home, their mission complete, their anger controlled. Earth did not celebrate. With parades, there was no victory song, only quiet relief. Humanity had shown its strength and chosen restraint. A final record was added to galactic history. It would be studied for ages. It read, "Humanity did not rise because it wanted power. Humanity rose because it was pushed." And the galaxy learned a lesson it would never forget. The anger of mankind is terrible, but the control of that anger is what truly makes humanity dangerous.